Thank you very much, Mr. Yared, for having you. I am Fukad Derba from Ethiopian Human Rights Defender Center. My question is especially with regards to the internet shutdown. Let me start by quoting what the Prime Minister of Ethiopia made as a statement on the House of People Representatives, when he stated that internet is not water, it's not an oxygen that we are breathing. So when you want, we can shut down anytime. And some people are arguing in favor of this statement by saying that, yes, of course, for the public purpose, internet should be shut down. So my question is that, firstly, we have to identify the difference between digital world and the offline rights. Because even for me, it's really difficult to consider internet right as a subset of freedom of expression. Because in offline system, yes, it is possible to, for example, limit my rights, because here I am geographically and timely limited in some way. But in this case, in the digital world, you can't be limited. For example, geographically, timely. When I am here, my digital world simultaneously will be available in the whole world. So can we say that internet can be shut down anytime for the public purpose because of, for example, here in some controversies hate speech, like because of hate speech, some things are created. The government may block some rights or may limit some freedom of expression in Addis or in some region, for example, X region or Y region. But in case of internet, when the government wants to shut down the internet, it all affected those people who do not participate in violation of that right. So how we can balance these two things, especially even in America, in US, it's not possible to limit or shut down the internet without court order. So how you can entertain this issue in your understanding is my question. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
አመሰግናለሁ። አለመሰገን ታደሰ እባላለሁ። ምናልባት አሁን ወንድሜ ካነሳው በጣም በተቃራኒ ነው ጥያቄው። ምክንያቱም ምናልባት ሌሎቹ ዓለማት በሁሉም ደረጃ ሰልጥነዋል። በተለይ በዲጂታል ራይት ላይ ለምሳሌ ለንደን፣ ፓሪስ የትም ሆኖ አንድ ሰው የሰውን መብት የሚጋፋ የሰውን ነገር የሚቃረን ነገር ጉድጓድ ውስጥ ሆኖ ቢጽፍ ዊዝን ሚኒት ይይዙታል፣ ማን እንደሆነ ያውቁታል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ እኛ ደግሞ ለዛ ቴክኖሎጂ የደረስን አይመስለኝም፣ አልደረስንም። እኔ ፌስቡክ በከፈትኩ ቁጥር መብቴ እየተገፋ ነው ብዬ መናገር እችላለሁ። ምክንያቱም በጣም ብዙ አሰቃቂ ነገሮችን እናያለን፣ ሳንወድ በግድ ማለት ሳልፈልግ። ሌላ ዜና ለማየት ብገባ አንድ የሆነ መጥፎ ዜና ማየት አይቀርም። ይሄ በሚሆንበት ሀገር ላይ ምናልባት እንደውም እኔ ከዚህም በተሻለ በጣም ጥብቅ ቁጥጥር ተደርጎ ምናልባት በጣም ከሱ ጋር አግሪ ላደርግ የምችለው ነገር ምንድን ነው? ግሎባላይዜሽን ነው። ጊዜው ለቢዝነስ ለሌሎች ነገሮች በጣም ኦንላይን ለሆኑ ሚቲንጎች ሊጠቅመን ይችል ይሆን። ከዛ በዘለለ ግን እኛ አጠቃቀሙ ላይ ገና ወደኋላ ስለሆነ ገና ወደኋላ ስለቀረ እየተጠቀምበት ያለው ፐርፐዝ ራሱ ስላልገባን በጭፍኑ ሰዎች መቼም አሁን እኮ በቀደመ ማን ቀድሞ ፖስት ያደርጋል? በጣም አስነዋሪ አሳፋሪ ዜና ማን ቀድሞ ፖስት ያደርጋል ነው አሁን ሽቅድዱ። ምንም የተሻለ ነገር ምናልባት ከኢንተርኔት በፊት ኖረናልም ተብሎ ከዚህ በፊት ይሁን እንትን ላይ ሰምቻለሁ። ኢትዮጵያ ከኢንተርኔት በፊት ኖራለች፣ አሁንም ትቀጥላለች። ያ ማለት ሳይሆን የሆነ አጠቃቀማችንን በጣም ገደብ አበጅተንለት በጣም ቁጥጥርን አብዝተን ነው ወይም ደግሞ በጣም የተሻለ የሚባለው ስልጠናዎችን ለማህበረሰቡ ሰጥተን ቢሆን ባይነኝ እኔ እና እዚህ ላይ እንደውም እናንተ ምን አስባችኋል? ምክንያቱም ይህ አንድ የሰብአዊ መብት ጥሰት ነው ብዬም ስለማስብ እዚህ ላይ የእናንተ ተቋም ምን አስበዋል? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the questions. I will try my best to also provide a rough translation. I guess first question and the last question I think is similar because it talks about regulation. Now we're trying to, I mean, the question by itself is trying to having a balance. One is internet is a human right, so it's a very important and also it's recognized as a very important tool, but also is subject to abuse. So I think the question is for social media or platform, the governance of, or it talks about regulation, right? So those who, I think probably it may lead to the hate speech and false information proclamation, then how it's adequate enough, Mr. Yari will reflect on it. And also I think if I understood the question, first question may also have like, you know, when you post it on social media, at times it's also at your own risks. That means that you're not protected. Okay, so what do you do with the abusers, to those who abuse this platform? And then I think it's we both recognize about that. So you tell us if it's
Thank you for those two questions. I think the first, as Salomon said already, the first and the third questions are almost the same. You asked about your concern in relation to this hate speech and misinformation and sometimes unfiltered reports about atrocities and grave human rights violations, whatever the globe or particularly in the case of Ethiopia. So your concern is, do we need to have more regulative and format of monitoring this platform, or is it better to leave it as it is? I think for my colleague from here who asked me about these media, these platforms have no any controlling mechanism, that's not true. All the platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and others, tutors, they have their own policies and regulations. But the only issue is the definition or the understanding of freedom or expressing ideas from these medias, and the way we interpret these fundamental rights are quite different. So they have their own policy. Facebook has its own policies. I attend several. I had a close engagement, and recently even there was a small group discussion with Facebook, and I was part of that. And they are very aware about all these concerns. And I think it was like a month before we had a meeting with Facebook team, and they know and share all these concerns. And they have their own policies, and their policies are they are very careful that regulating mechanisms reflect all these concerns, but also respect those fundamental rights and freedoms of individuals to express their opinion and share their ideas. So yes, there are regulations, but those international social media regulations might not be sufficient to control
those hate speech and misinformation. So countries also develop their own controlling mechanism, and like now in the case of Ethiopia, recently we adopt hate speech and misinformation proclamation to regulate hate speech and misinformation. So the issue is those laws are they under the framework of or in respect of those international human rights standards, because human rights is not just like a free right that individuals can do whatever they want, but there are rights and duties, but there is always a landmark and there is standards. Those international and regional standards are a guideline for each state countries when they are developing or adopting any or controlling or any kind of strategic mechanisms to control this hate speech or whatever. So yes, you are right. There is a need of that. There are concerns, and in some cases, some of the information incite violence and cause many damage within the community. So we need states or the community itself need to control that, but within the framework of those international standards or regional standards that are being recognized by the UN and the African Union level. So yeah, the other thing is I think we need to teach our community as well to use this platform in a very responsible and civilized manner. People are sharing unnecessary information. Some of the informations are, as I said already, not filtered or controlled or evidence-based. So many people, even they don't think for a minute about the consequence of sharing some of the pictures or videos. You see, so if you see, there is now a controlling mechanism. When you post any graphic video or picture, you can't open it. It's just Facebook or any social media platforms. They immediately put like a blurred picture with a notice that it is a graphic picture. So it's up to you to open it and see, or you can leave it. So if you want to see, you can, there is an option saying see the picture or the video. So as much as possible, they're putting all kind of controlling mechanisms, but still it's up to you guys to choose which media, which information you want to see, you want to share, you want to check, but you can't stop people for not sharing. Like somebody may send a picture from somewhere on the spot when he sees some atrocity or grievance, and you can't stop him. It's part of his right of communication or sharing information. But the issue is that fact-based. Is there some kind of defamation or misinformation? Then these laws are there to make him or her accountable. But you can't restrict totally the right of individuals to get information or share. In some cases, like for instance, on some of the issues you mentioned, yeah, you don't want to see that pictures, but there are people also, or that information, but there are people who want to see and check and control and monitor those information as well. So what about the right of the rest of the community? So we need to have a kind of balance. So all these regulations are needed to balance this. From the question, my colleague Befekadu, thank you for raising this interesting question. Yes, there is a situation, even recently, that the internet shutdown was took us a right measure from the government side to control some situations. And as you said, the Prime Minister on his report said that internet is not like water or any other basic needs. So yeah, but I totally disagree with him. That is a wrong way of understanding these fundamental rights. Internet is a fundamental right, and it is already recognized by the UN. We need that, but the only thing that we need is the government should have all protection and controlling mechanism rather to shut down. When you shut down the internet, as you said, you may restrict a few information, but at the same time, you are affecting the life of millions. Or especially when in Africa, the infrastructure is not yet that much well developed, but in the Western, if you shut down internet for like 30 minutes, then all the systems might be totally down. So the consequence will be in millions, and it affects the rights and the life of many. So we may not be at that stage, but it's not the right way of controlling situation in the ground. So as much as you respect these fundamental rights of in an offline life of the community, the government should also respect this life. So, well, there might be some situation that may put the state at stake to control or do some kind of filtering or controlling mechanisms, but it's not an option to shut down internet or blackouts totally, and it's condemned by the UN, by the international community. So it's totally states should be discouraged when they shut down internet. So they should find some kind of controlling the situations, right? To rather to control or I mean to total blackout, like for a week or 2 weeks. It's too much, and the consequences it's uncountable. I have made, I think, a comment or from Zimbabwe. My colleague from Zimbabwe raised an issue, and he said, or she said, we have also the same situation and experiencing similar challenges where journalists have been arrested for exposing competition on social media. So yeah, I think we share many African countries in general. Earlier, I mentioned the case in Uganda as well. Governments are very sensitive on sharing or this digital communication, and that's why they are very taking most of the time. They took very severe and restrictive measures, but we encourage states to open the space as much as they can, but at the same time to aware the community, to teach the community on how to use this platform for exercising their basic freedoms in a civilized manner through their education system, through schools or whatever, or using TV and radio platforms to teach and aware the public on how to use social media. But it's still a concern in many countries, especially in Africa, even including in Ethiopia. People were, especially journalists and human rights defenders, have faced similar challenges and attack from the government side, from the security apparatus. I think we have some cases recently when COVID pandemic erupted. I think a journalist who shared information online about a linked information that for the preparation of a funeral place and so on. He was arrested and charged, but now he has been released already. So we can count many cases from country to country. So, but yeah, human rights defenders and journalists should work a lot to for the promotion and respect of their rights by doing advocacy, consultation meeting, and sitting with government officials to show your concerns. So thank you, my colleague from Zimbabwe. I think your experience is not only in Zimbabwe, but it's across the region. Any more questions or comment, feedback, suggestion? You are most welcome.
ዳኛቸው ኃይለማርያም ይባላሉ። አሪፍ ነው ግንዛቤ የሚነግርሽ ምንድን ነው? በዚህ በሶሻል ሚዲያ በሀገራችን ውስጥ ይሄ የተባለ ህግ አልቃረግምና በእነኛ መመሪያ የለውም። ቃልን አይጠየቅበትም። ማንም ሰው ነው የሚፈጸው ነው እና በማህበራዊ ሶሻል ሚዲያ ውስጥ ቁም ነገርን ትምህርትን የሚያስጨብጡ አካውንቶች፣ ገጾች፣ ዌብሳይቶች አሉ። እነዛ የተለፋባቸው አካውንቶች ወይም ገጾች፣ ዌብሳይቶች ባልታወቁ ሰዎች ሀክ ይደረጋሉ። ያ ሰው እጅግ በጣም ለፍቶበታል፣ ደክሞበታል፣ ገንዘብን፣ ጊዜውንም ሁሉ ነገር አውጥቶበታል እና ባልታወቁ ሰዎች ጥቃት ይደርስበታል፣ ተስፋ ይቆርጣል እና ወደሚመለከተው አካል ሲኬድ አይመለከተንም ነው የሚሉት እና የመንግስት ተቋማት ለምሳሌ እኔ ደርሶብኛል የደረሰብኝ ነገር ነው እና በግል ጥረቴ በፌስቡክ ገጽ ነበረኝ እና ሀክ ይደረግብኛል። ወደሚመለከተው አካል ሄድኩኝ። እያስተናገዱ ፈቃደኛ አይደሉም። እኛ የመንግስት አካል እንጂ የግለሰብን ማስተናገድ አንችልም፣ ይሄ አይመለከተንም ያሉት እና እዛ ላይ የተሰሩ የሚለቀቁ በኔ ፔጅ ላይ ሀክ ያደረጉ ሰዎች አላስፈላጊ ነገር ነው እየለቀቁ ያሉት እና ያ እኔ ተጠያቂ ነው የሚያደርገኝ። ያመለከትኩ ነው እንግዲህ ከቁጥጥር ከኔ ቁጥጥር ውጭ ሆኖብኛል። አላስፈላጊ ነገሮች እየተካሄዱ ነው ያሉት እና ይሄ ነገር ሊቆም ይገባል። መንግስትን የሚነካ ነገር ሊለቀቅ ነገር ላይ መጥቶ ነው ማጅራቴን ይዞ የሚያስገብኝ እና ይሄ ነገር እንዴት ነው ሊሆን የሚችለው? እናንተ የሚመለከታል ስላቸው አይ እኛን አይመለከትም አሉ። የፖሊስ አካል ናቸው። ወደ ኢንሳም ሄድኩኝ። ኢንሳም ጋር መፍትሄ አላገኘው። አንድ አመት ሆኗታል ሄጄ ከ30,000 በላይ ተከታይ ነበረኝ። በአጭር ጊዜያት ውስጥ ነበር ተቀባይነት ያገኘው እና እንደዚህ የለፋሁበት እንደኔ መሳዮች ደግሞ በጣም ብዙ አሉ። እጅግ በጣም ሀክ የሚደረጉ አሉ እና በግል ጥረት የሚመለሰው መንግስትም ለግለሰብም ደግሞ ተቆርቋሪነት ነገር የለውም። ወንጀል ግን ቢሰራ ግን ከመጠየቅ ወደኋላ አይልም እና በማህበራዊ ሚዲያ ላይ የሚሰሩ ጋዜጠኞች ትምህርት ቢሰጥ ሀክ እንዳይደረግ ስልጠናዎች ቢኖሩ ጥሩ ነው እና ቬሪፋይልም ካልተደረገ የሚባል ነገርም ኢንሳምንት ብሎኛል እና ፓስፖርት የሌላቸው ሰዎች መጠቀም አይችሉም ወይ? የግዴታ ቬሪፋይ ካልተደረገ ፌስቡክ ካምፓኒ ማስተናገድ ወይ? እነሱ ጋር በጣም ተጣጥፎ ያለው ፌስቡክ ካምፓኒ ራሱ ቬሪፋይ ሳያደረግ እኛ አልቻልነው ሀክ ያደረገውን ሰውዬ እኛ ማግኘት አልቻልንም ነው ያሉት እና ያቺ የለፋሁባት የደከምኩባት አካውንቴ ከጥቅም ውጭ ሆናለች እና ስልጠናዎች ቢኖሩ ሀክ እንዳይደረግ እዚህ ላይ ትኩረት ቢሰራና ዝም ብሎ ማንም ተነስቶ ከሊክ እስከ ደቂቅ ከህፃን እስከ አዋቂ ዝም ብሎ ዩቱብ ከሚከፍት ህግ ወጥቶለት ደንብና መመሪያ ወጥቶለት ተቆጣጣሪ አንተን ኖሮሎት እንትን ቢባል በሀገራችን ውስጥ ማን ዛሬ ምን እየለቀቀ ነው ምን እየሰራ ነው የሚለውን ነገር የተቆጣጣሪ ነገር ቢኖር አሪፍ ነው እና እኛም ሀክ ከመደረግም እንላለን እንቆጠባለን። ወይም ደግሞ ሀክ ስንደረግ ደግሞ ስናመለክት ተቀባይነት ይኖራል። ምክንያቱም ህጋዊ ስለሆንን ማለት ነው። እና ይሄ ጥያቄ አመሰግናለሁ።
Thank you very much. Any other question?
አመሰግናለሁ። አለምሽ ሰባለሁ የተደረጉ ካለች እና ቼክ ይወጣልና ከሰባይ መብት ቦርድ ሜምበር ነኝ። ይህን ነገር በመነሳቱ በጣም ደስ ብሎኛል። እናንተም ስላዘጋጃችሁ እናመሰግናለን። አሁን ወንድሜ እንዳለው ነው እንግዲህ ተደጋጋሚ እንደሆነብኝ ግን መግለጽ ስለፈለኩኝ ነው። ብዙ ዩቲዩበሮች የማይሆን ነገሮችን ሲያደርጉ እናያለን። ለሳንቲም ብለው ኢቨን እንኳን የሞተን ሰው አስክሬኑ ተገኘ፣ እንደዚህ ተደረገ፣ እንደዚህ ሆነ የሚባል ነገሮች አሉ። የሞተን ሰው የሳንቲም ማሰባሰቢያ የማድረግ ነገር፣ የታመመን ሰው እንደዚህ ተደረገ፣ እነዚህ ነገሮች ቁጥጥር የላቸውም። አሁን እኔ የሬዲዮ ጋዜጠኛ ነኝ። ሬዲዮ ላይ ረጅም ዓመት ሰርቻለሁ እና ለአድማጮቻችን እንኳን ትክክለኛ መረጃ ማንሰጥባቸው ሁኔታዎች ናቸው አሁን ያሉት ማለት ነው። እና እነዚህ ነገሮች የሚቆጣጠራቸው እናንተ በእናንተ ስር ሆኖ እናንተ መፍትሄ የምታበጁላቸው ነገር ቢኖር መልካም ነው። ምክንያቱም እኛ ከታማኝ ድረገጽ አግኝተን አጋጣሚ ሆኖ ከራሳችን መረጃ ውጭ ታማኝ ድረገጽ ነው ብለን ለአድማጮቻችን በመናደርስ ሰዓት ላይሆን የሚችልበትን አጋጣሚዎች አሉና እነዚህ ትክክለኛ መረጃ ብቻ ሊያደርሱ የሚችሉት ዩቲዩበሮችም ሆነ ፌስቡከሮች እንዴት ነው ተጠርቶ ተገኝቶ እነዚህ ሰዎች ማስተካከል የሚቻለው? አባብል የሚሰሩትንስ እንዴት ነው? ምን አይነት እርምጃ ነው የሚወሰድባቸው? አመሰግናለሁ።
Okay, as you are finalist to our transition. I think the first question, Daniel's question has related to with digital security and privacy. Somehow it's a suggestion for further training on the security and privacy of journalists and human rights defenders. I guess was Mr. Arian's message has taken note, and they may have something to say on it. And also, I think Adan's question also has to do the same thing of regulation and also about especially of fake news. I think we have to think about those laws. In brief, Mr. Saleh's question was answered in a way that, of course, it's always a problem to balance the right to freedom of expression, and also at times it's also a problem. Mr. Yahya was suggesting who tries, So I can say, yeah, the Saleh is this and that, and that whether Solomon has the right to say so. So still, as the friends all suggesting to have the need for a certain sort of regulation, or at least to those false informations. And I guess Mr. Yarek was suggesting that, he told us that to this effect that we have a law, this hate speech and false information proclamation. So it will be governed and regulated by this law. And I think the discussion suggests that there is also a need for further conversation on this issue.
Okay. Thank you, Solomon. I think let me back to my colleague at the corner when he was asking me about those news with footage and horrible news that you don't want to see. When you wake up in the morning, you open your phone and check your Facebook and you are looking for good news or whatever, but you don't want to see those graphics. But the main question is, even this hate speech or misinformation regulations, laws. They are only controlling whether that information is based on false or fake or not evidence-based cases. Otherwise, if that is a fact, and if as long as there is no hate speech or any kind of defamation, then it's up to you to decide to check your Facebook or not. But those truths, whether it is graphic or not, these social medias will continue to broadcast or share in their very wide global network. So they are only concerned about whether that is true or not. As long as it is true, so it's up to you. If you don't want to see those serious things or maybe graphics, you may be very selective which news page you are going to check, or maybe you can select your friends or whatever. But we can't control the rest of the circulation of these information. So their definition of freedom of expression and information circulation is very wide. So we need to consider, I mean, the understanding of international community and the international and these global platforms, how they define freedom of expression, to what extent. Okay, that's what I want to highlight. And for those two questions, as Salman said already, they're talking about digital security, protection, and regulation. Sorry, Daniel, what you have faced. It happened to many social media users, and there are hackers everywhere. Some of them, they want to use your page for sharing whatever they want, or maybe blocking you or stop your engagement, your activity. If it happens somewhere in the West or in a country where they have a well-developed digital platform and structure, then you can complain to the police or to the right body at the government structure that somebody hacked my account. Then they try to trace the hacker, and they can help you anyways. It's just like when somebody hacked your account, it's like reporting to the police, or somebody stole my laptop or my property, my bag, and the police couldn't say, oh, we don't care. It's just like similar situation. So online accounts might cost you a lot. When somebody accesses your telephone or your laptop or your other online accounts, they may access your bank account as well. They may access some of your private data. So the damage would be high. So they took it very seriously. So but it depends on the capacity of the government, the awareness of the police officers, and if I go to somewhere here at the police station and talk about this hacking account, the police officer might have no clue what you are talking about. Even he may not be in a position even to protect his own account. So we need to realize this. So at this stage, not only for my colleagues in Ethiopia, but across the region in Africa, therefore, at the moment, the only option we have as a human rights defender and people who are, all our jobs are based on online connection, we need to be well trained on how to secure our data online. So there are trainings, digital security training. I recommend you guys and encourage you all to take this digital training, as I earlier promised, with collaboration with Masood, Sarah, and also our regional partner, Defender, the Eastern Horn of African Human Rights Defenders Project, the organization which I'm representing them at the African Union. They have expertise on digital security. They always organize training for human rights defenders and for journalists how to protect their email, their telephone, their data, online social media accounts. So I will try to, as quick as possible, we will try to facilitate this training soon, and we will send an invitation to all of you through Sarah, and we will invite these digital security experts to provide you a training, maybe like a 2-day or 3 days training, how to encrypt your email, how to keep your data there are several mechanisms and techniques to protect your online life. So we can support you. Our center and CELO can work, collaborate and organize maybe 2-3 trainings shortly. I think I answered your question. It's all the same. Yeah.
My question has somehow false information dynamics, probably.
Well, I think for the you raise the YouTube account, anyone can open. So actually, you can't control these medias at the country level. These are global platform. If you control, if the states develop severe controlling mechanism or asking to be registered, as I said in my presentation, some countries have a registration requirement to be a blogger or to have a YouTube account and so on, but it couldn't stop the threat. The problem is somebody can open an account from Sudan or anywhere. Recently, we have many cases, so people can open this account from anywhere from the corner, the world. So you can't stop those accounts, and as long as you have internet connections, so these accounts are always available and reach out. So for me, this kind of, a very controlling and restrictive way of kind of mechanisms, we don't know where it will stop. It may come to you as well and may affect even your account, and state officials may control the based on content. As you can't say this, you can't say that. So as I said it already, the only way to avoid this risk is just encouraging our community to use this platform in a very responsible and civilized manner, and give a respect to the community and to the dignity of each individuals. And also, if somebody posted a fake information or misinformation or hate speech or raising funds based on fake facts, then you are entitled to report to the right body, to the government, but not only to the government, but also to report to YouTube and Facebook to check their policy and check these fake accounts and even to stop those the circulation of this fake information or hate speech. And I know many almost in a daily basis, Facebook are blocking or put restriction on the account of individuals when they receive a report from their users. Oh, this is a hate speech, this post violates this right and that right. They have list of requirements, then you can report immediately. I did several times when I see some fake report or like hate speech, I always report to Facebook to block that account or to take any measure just for the sake of the rest of the community. Yeah, I think that's what I have to say at this stage.
Thank you very much, Eric. Do you think there is anything left that undiscussed?
አመሰግናለሁ። አዜብ ደመቀ እባላለሁ። ከኢትዮጵያ ሚዲያውያን አሶሲዬሽን ነው የመጣሁት። ሪሰርቹ ጥሩ ነው የቀረበልን ፕሬዘንቴሽን ሂውማን ራይትስ የኢንተርኔት ተጠቃሚነት የሂውማን ራይትስ መብታችን እንደሆነ ማወቃችን አንድ ነገር ነው። ያሉትም ኦፖርቹኒቲዎች ብዙ ናቸው፣ እነሱ መገለጻቸው እንዳለ ሆኖ ግን እያንዳንዱ ግለሰብ ሲጠቀም ያለበትን ኃላፊነትና መወጣት እንዴት እንደሚችል ወይም እዛ ላይ የሆነ ስራ ቢሰራ ጥሩ ነው ብዬ እላለሁ። ልክ እዚህ ጋር የሂውማን ራይትስ አንዱ ቤዚክ ራይት እንደሆነ ኢንተርኔት አክሰስ ማግኘት ለአንድ ሰው ያ ሰው ደግሞ ሲጠቀም ያለውን ሪስፖንሲቢሊቲ እንዲወጣ ማለት ነው። ኃላፊነት እና ተጠያቂነት ህግ ብቻ የሚያድነን አይመስለኝም እና ንቃተ ህሊናው ላይ መሰራት ያለበት ይመስለኛል ህብረተሰባችን ላይ። ምክንያቱም በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ የምናየው ያን ያክል የሚስዩዝ ያለ አይመስለኝም። ግን ሀገራችን ላይ ያለው የኢንተርኔት አጠቃቀም ወይም የሶሻል ሚዲያ አጠቃቀማችን ከጥቅሙ ይልቅ ጉዳቱ እያመዘነ እንደሆነ የምንገነዘብበት አግባብ አለ። እዛ ጋር ወንድማችን እንዳለው መጥፎ የሆነ ዜናን ያለማየት ፍላጎት ራሱ እኮ የአንድ ሰው መብት ነው አይደለ? በጆርናሊዝም ነው የተመረኩትኝ እና ጋዜጠኝነት ከሆነ በእርግጥ ተደበላልናል። አክቲቪዝም እና ጆርናሊዝም አዘሴም ታይም ደግሞ የማህበረሰብ ጆርናሊዝም የምንለው ነገር ኤቲክስን ያልጠበቀ ነው። የሚለጠፉ ነገሮች እኔ በጣም ሰሞኑን የማየው የሆነ ሰው አለፈ ወይም ሞተ ተብሎ ፒክቸሩ የአስከሬን ፒክቸር ፊቱ ሁሉ ግልጽ ሆኖ እየታየ አይቻለው አንድ ሁለት ፖስቶችን ማለት ነው። እና ያን ያክል መሄድ አለብን የሚለውን ነገር እውቀት ለመጨመር መሰራት ያለበት ይመስለኛል። እንደተባለው እዚህ ብዙ የሚዲያ ባለሙያዎች እንዳሉ ተነግሯል እና እናንተም ሲቪል ራይትስ ዲፌንደር አሶሲዬሽን አይ ቲንክ እና ሴሮም ቢሆን በዚህ ላይ ግንዛቤ የማስጨበጥ ስራ ላይ ሀው ቱ ዩዝ ለበጎ ነገር እንዴት ሶሻል ሚዲያን እንጠቀመው የሚል ስራ ቢሰራ ጥሩ ነው እላለሁ። ሁለተኛ ነገር እንደተባለው ጥቅሙ እንዳለ ሆኖ የሚመጡብን ደግሞ ጉዳቶች በተለይ ሴቶችን አተኩሮ ማለት ነው ኦንላይን ጀንደር ቤዝድ ቫዮለንስ ላይ ቢሰራ ብዬ እላለሁ። ምክንያቱም አሁን ያለንበት ክሪቲካል ታይም የምርጫ ሁኔታ ከፊታችን እና እዛ ላይ ካንዲዴት ሆነው የሚወጡ ሴቶች ላይ የሚደረጉ ኦንላይን ጀንደር ቤዝድ ቫዮለንሶች አሉ። እንደ ኢትዮጵያ ሚዲያውያን አሶሲዬሽን በየወሩ የምናዘጋጀው ራውንድ ቴብል ዲስከሽን አለ ከሴት ጋዜጠኞች ጋር። በዛ ላይ የሚነሱ የተለያዩ ነገሮች አሉ እና ሴቶችን የሚያሸማቅቁ ሁሉም ላይ ሊደርስ ይችላል፣ ግን በተለይ ከሴቶች ጋር በተያያዘ የሚነሳው ኦንላይን ጀንደር ቤዝድ ቫዮለንስ ሞሮፍ ከሴክሹዋሊቲ ጋር የተያያዘ ነው እና በጣም አሰቃቂ እየሆነ መጥቷል። ፕሊስ እዚህ ላይ ፎከስ ተደርጎ ይሰራላለሁ። አመሰግናለሁ።
If I understood you correctly, the question is sometimes using social media or the internet as a positive force including combating violence against women. Right now, such as at this time, like we have female candidates. So probably they are uniquely exposed to attacks. So what can we do about it? And also, of course, the question has to be something, the biggest question is about capacity building. And I think Mr. Garrett answering the question, and it would be, I think, important also for you to give probably 5 minutes or 10 minutes conclusion, and then we end the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Salman. Thank you, Azay, for your comments. Very important issues that you raised. Yes, I think we can stop, as I said already, we can't stop hate speech or misinformation or these bad behaviors of individuals that have been shown online only by using laws or restrictions. I think we need to focus on civic education and even on the regular educational system, teaching kids and our kids, our children at school to learn about the risks and how to use social media for the benefit of the general public and for good. Yes, there are evil-minded people everywhere, not only in Ethiopia, but across the world, and they always use any kind of platform or opportunity to distract the normal or positive spirit of the public. So don't forget, these people are everywhere. And also, people may also commit this kind of mistakes unknowingly. I mean, with lack of information or knowledge. So it's better as a community, as a state, as a country, as a region, and as a human rights defenders, as a journalist, we need to work more on education and creating awareness. Then it's up to the government and the states also to use any regulation mechanisms, but always should be considering and with the respect of those fundamental rights. So thank you, Azir, for those feedback and comments. Just to conclude my presentation, I would like to take this opportunity to pick few words from the UN resolution, an non-binding resolution on the protection and promotion of our fundamental rights online. So states the UN call upon all states, Ethiopia and the rest of sister countries or across the region, to address security concerns on the internet in accordance with their international human rights obligations. Yes, states, they have the obligation to protect the nation, to protect public security, but they should address any kind of security concerns on the internet in accordance with their international human rights obligations to ensure protection of freedom of expression, freedom of association, privacy, and other human rights online, including through national democratic, transparent institutions based on the rule of law in a way that ensure freedom and security on the internet so that it can continue to be a vibrant force that generates economic, social, and cultural development and contains unequivocally or human rights violations and abuses such as torture, extrajudicial killings, enforced disappearance, arbitrary detention, explosions, intimidation, harassment, as well as gender-based violence committed against persons for exercising their human rights and fundamental freedoms on the internet, and calls on all states, including Ethiopia, to ensure accountability in this regard, and condemns univocally measures to internationally prevent or disrupt access to or disseminate of information online in violation of international human rights law, and calls on all states, including Ethiopia, to refrain from end cases such as measures. And I would like to stress also the importance of combating advocacy of hate that constitutes incitement, like what we were discussing about this hate speech, to discrimination or violence on the internet, including by promoting tolerance and dialogue. I thank you so much. My colleague from Kenya also expressed his concern because the upcoming election in Kenya maybe in 2022, and there are already some sign of targeting human rights defenders or journalists who are using this platform. So similarly, Ethiopia is also now approaching to a national election. It will be conducted in a month and maybe half time, and a month and a half. We would like to take this opportunity to provide a strong message to human rights organizations and at the state level, the Ethiopian government to respect the rights and freedoms of individuals and journalists, especially on the sensitive period during the pre and the voting day and in the post-election period. Thank you so much. I think we closed our session by forwarding our gratitude and we would like to thank our regional partner, and on behalf of SEO, I would like to thank the organization of this huge regional session 2021, and congratulations again. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you very much. Now we'll, for a couple of minutes, networking and session will switch to our local language. If our international audience to follow us, it's okay. Otherwise, thank you very much. Yeah. How do we say this?
በጣም እናመሰግናለን። መልካም ውይይት ነበረ ያደረግነው። በጣም እናመሰግናለን። በሱዲ ሁሉም ስታፍ አባላቶችን በሙሉ እናመሰግናለን። ጥሩ ነገር አግኝታችኋል ብዬ አስባለሁ። እስቲ አረጋግጡልኝ። በጣም እናመሰግናለን ስለነበረ ጊዜ። በተባባለው መሰረት በተከታታይ ስልጠናዎች ይኖራሉ ብለን ተስፋ እናደርጋለን። ከማድረግ አንድ ሁለት ተከታታይ ስልጠናዎች ሊኖሩ የሚችሉ ካሉ ሁኔታ በእነሱ የማካኝነት እንደምናገኝ ተስፋ እናደርጋለን። ከዚህ ስልጠና ከሄዳችሁ በኋላ እንግዲህ ዋናው ጉዳይ ስልጠና መውሰዱ ወይም ደግሞ ዲስከሽን ማድረጉ ብቻ ሳይሆን ይህ በኋላ በአመለካከታቸው ላይ በስራችን ላይ ብዙዎችን ባሉ ሰዎች ላይ ለውጥ ማምጣት የሚችሉ እንቅስቃሴዎችን ማድረግ ላይ ትኩረት ማድረግ የሚገባው ዛሬ የሚጀምረው ተከታታይ የምናደርጋቸውን ነገሮች ውጤታማ እንደሚሆኑ እንገምታለን። በኢትዮጵያ ፈቃደኛ ጋዜጠኞችና የኪነጥበብ ባለሙያዎች ማህበር ተሰብአዊ መብቶች ማህበረሰብ በጣም እናመሰግናለን ሁላችሁንም። ከዚህ ውጭ ግን ዛሬ ኖቲስ ለማድረግ ይፈቀድልኛል። 11 ሰዓት ላይ የወዴ የባልደረባችን የጋዜጠኛ አባት ተመለፈው ታሪካዊ የተሰኘ መጽሐፍ እናስመርቃለን። ያሻራተን ተቀብለ ላላቸው ስለዚህ ዛሬ መጽሐፍ እናስመርቃለን። ሁላችሁም ልትገኙ
Hi, everyone. So the next session will be starting in a few minutes. So the Uganda team, can we connect your audio so that we can confirm that we are good to go for the next session? Thank you.
social media ላይ በተለያዩ ፕላትፎርሞች የሆነ ነገር ሲፈጠር ኮንሶርት ሳይትና ቼክ አድርገን የዚህ
to know the professional case to mission prosper.
This is breaking news. Protests have broken out in parts of the city over the government shutting down the internet during the recent elections. Human rights organizations are asking for the UN intervention into a clear abuse of human rights.
Good morning. I have a letter. I'm supposed to see.
Please have your seat. Someone will be with you in a minute.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mondays are the absolute worst. I am sorry I have kept you waiting.
It's fine, sir.
James?
Jude.
Jude, yes, Jude. You are welcome. You can call me Rogers. Come with me. Come. So Jude, I saw that you scored quite high at your test. Very impressive.
Thank you very much, sir.
But don't think you bagged it just yet. This chart of ours is the last evaluation before a hire. Okay, here we are. Yep. Okay. So Jude, did you read up about the position?
Well, sir, to be honest, I couldn't really find a lot of information about the office online. I know the role is for a high-performance project manager, but
Jude, you applied for a job, but you do not know what the company does? What kind of professional are you?
No, sir. No, I'm talking in terms of the operational.
Relax. I'm just messing with you. We're into security across Africa. Of course, you are not going to find information about us in some random search on the internet. You should have seen the look on your face. Come, let's go. I used to work in admin a long time ago, but then I found more satisfaction in recruitment. Come, we're almost there. Today, I am here to show you the 4 departments you could be working with. The teams that drive them. You think you can handle that?
Oh, absolutely, sir, I can.
These guys do effective work at monitoring and scrubbing communications across the continent. And these guys live in anticipation every day. Rukewe, Habib, and Lady Rose. Jude.
Hey.
One of the biggest factors in security is learning to anticipate smaller problems before they become bigger problems. They've made particularly significant inroads in Rwanda.
Rwanda?
Of course. Thanks to government helping with legislation that gives them a free rein. But we both know that law or no law, these guys could easily hack any communication in that country. Sorry? Not the friendliest bunch in the building. But, like I always say, data makes one dull. Hello. These three gentlemen are Gregory, Negasi, and Mensa. Do you know the biggest threat to a nation's peace?
No, sir.
The biggest threat is the internet. An intoxicating place where people perpetuate misinformation and promote chaos. It's a place where order falls flat in 140 characters.
Amen. So they monitor the internet?
Monitor? They do better than that. They shut it down. This core team handles blackouts and shutdowns of networks across Africa. Did you see Ethiopia? Legacy did that. And due to his work in that region, we were able to operate without reports of our work on ground, leaking out to the fake news sites. We're putting a special package of this service together for our clients in Nigeria.
Hey, your phone is ringing. I'm so sorry, sir. It's my mom. I'll just...
Oh, no. Why? Go ahead, answer your call. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Thank you very much, son. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
You have found the place, Abby?
Yes, ma. No, ma. I didn't have trouble finding it.
How is their office? Are they serious people? Don't worry, my son. Follow your heart.
Mom, can I call you back later, please?
I know you, huh? You will make the right decision.
All right.
Dude, I think we can take a pause in the tour for a minute. Let's go have lunch. Come, let's go. Come.
Sir, I've been wanting to ask you a few questions about this office. People must know what you do here, right? All over Africa. You say you're in the country of Israel. So how come no one is saying anything?
Pass me your phone. You have Twitter, right? Can I use your phone for a minute? How many retweets does this have?
350,000.
Now let me find that idiot that's always insulting the president. And how many does this one have?
41 retweets, sir.
Eat your food, Jude, my friend. Nobody cares. Eat your food. Jude, the only time the office would be worried is if all these countries where we operate in actually come together to compare notes and talk. But this is Africa. We both know that will never happen. Come with me. Now, if we're talking sheer numbers and scale, this is my favorite department. Egypt, 2019. Remember Abd al-Fattah? Wouldn't keep his mouth shut, so we acquired him. That's this, guys. Mary, Halima, Thomas, and Thomas. Don't mix them up. Jude, if you need a problem, all problems to disappear, these are the guys to talk to. They deploy their contacts across Africa so effectively. Jude, shall we? Come on. Jude, you know, when the company pays you well, it never stops harassing. Timesheets. Ready for the last room? So come on then, let's go. You want to hear something ironic? Terrorism has furthered our cause more than anything in the last few years. Now, governments can increase their budget in order to fund the operations they need. No questions asked.
Keeping the citizens safe.
That's right. In Nigeria, the government invests heavily in this kind of equipment. Think of it as a build-up to bigger things to come. Jude, come. Well, that's it. That's our little operation here. It's a thankless job, but we do it. Plus, I can tell you that we pay people well to keep them happy. I mean, benefits, bonuses, your insurance. I like you, Jude. I really do. You're young, smart, and you think deep, I can tell. You know, it's people like you we need to pass the baton to. You gave me a good vibe today, so I am going to give you an opportunity. But first, we have a little tradition around here. Think of it like an induction. Go on. Gaining information under pressure against a ticking clock has always been a true test of grit and a willingness to improvise. There is an office bet on how fast you can get a series of names from our friend in there. Now, the office record is 7 minutes, but I put my money on you to split that in half. Was I wrong? Was I wrong? No, sir. I can do it. Welcome to the team, Jude.
Let me ask, where will you be in 5 or 10 years?
Thank you everyone for joining us for the session in Ethiopia. This is #Drift21. We will be joining again for the next session in Uganda. Join us, feel free to join us at 11 a.m. GMT. Thank you so much, and let's keep the conversations going.
And I'm serious about that. Okay, you know what I just did? I've just presented to you what life will always do. Life will try to scare you. But only the bold, only those who are able to keep their hand up, even when they're being threatened. I saw that she was going to put her hand down. Like, hey, let's see this man go talk now. Make I not go embarrass myself. And then she put it up. And I love the boldness that I see. Now, that is the attitude I want all of you to have. One of the questions that I asked anybody I interviewed is, tell me how you have failed before and what you did about it. Because I think failure might be an
Zoom broadcasting. So since Zoom will send a reminder 1 hour before the event, so we can then resume back like 30 minutes or 45 minutes before the event. Thank you. Let me know once you get this.
Let me ask, where will you be in 5 or 10 years? What would you be doing? Where would you be? Where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years? Be careful before you answer. Be careful. 3 of you are raising your hand. Are you sure you really want to answer? Okay, the 3 of you are sure. Okay, just 2 of you now. I'll embarrass you with the question I'm about to ask. And if you don't get the answer right, you leave this training right away. And I'm serious about that. Okay, you know what I just did? I've just presented to you what life will always do. Life will try to scare you. But only the bold, only those who are able to keep their hand up, even when they're being threatened. I saw that she was going to put her hand down. Like, hey, let's see this man go talk now. Make I not go embarrass myself. And then she put it up. And I love the boldness that I see. Now, that is the attitude I want all of you to have. One of the questions that I asked anybody I interviewed is, tell me how you have failed before and what you did about it. Because I think failure might be an opportunity. My name is Benga Shesom. I'm a social entrepreneur. I am Executive Director of Paradigm Initiative Nigeria, and our work is focused on... We're going straight. Follow the tanker. Left, keep left. Keep right, keep going, keep left. We're using the next turn, Kata Bridge, so you might want to stay right. My Nigeria. There are 2 sides to it. One is potential. But the other side of Nigeria that makes me laugh is the fact that for many years, we basically said, oh, the government should, private sector should, civil society should. But right now, nobody is saying anything. People are building stuff on their own. When I was much younger, I was denied access to a computer, and I went out of my way to learn how to use it. And so that's basically part of what I do now, training young people, connecting them with opportunities through technologies. Now you're getting into Ajegunle, and this is where the population multiplies. It's called small Nigeria, actually, because you will find people from almost every tribe, actually every tribe. I have seen how ICTs can change lives. In my third year in secondary school, which is why I got all this, idea and passion about technology from, I was told by a teacher I could never understand how to use computers. Because, I was really tiny and he was a big man. He said, no, you can't understand how to use them. They're not people like you. I cried on that day. How many of you know that in secondary school, you dare not have tears in your eyes when you get into a class? Because the girls will look at you and say, Mommy's boy. So I cried, I had to cry between the principal's office and my class. And you know when you have to cry inside, how many of you have cried inside before? Somebody said something that pained you. It got to the bone and to the marrow and to every fiber of you, and you could cry, but you didn't want people to know, so you cried inside. And I'm the kind of guy you don't tell not to do something, I will do it. If you tell me it's impossible, I take it as a challenge, like you're saying, oh, Benga, come do this. I remember when we told people into Ajegunle, we were told, is it safe? Are you sure? We've been there now, going to 8 years, and we haven't had one incident. And that's because what we offer is very simple. We're saying, yes, this community doesn't exactly inspire hope, but if you go through this 7-week process, you will become a role model for everyone else in the community. of the lessons that I learned in my short years of going from the young man who was told he would never understand how to use computers to becoming one who travels the world to discuss the same thing called computers, the things I've learned were the things we put together to start the curriculum here. We're not a training center. If you thought you came to a training center, please go back home. We're a life-transforming center. What I basically want to communicate to them is one thing. These 7 weeks will change your life if you allow them to.
My name is Chigemicha Uzochi Priska. My dream is to become a medical doctor. Last year, I wanted to write an exam. The exam is basically on computer. So the reason why I came to PIN was just to learn on computer so I wouldn't fail my exam. Yes, it did open a new world to me because I was thinking people who know computer are very, very intelligent. I even had this thinking that it is only male that knows how to operate computer. But when I came to PIN, wow, I was really, really surprised that even a female can operate computer, and it was very wonderful for me. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. You need condom. Okay. Should I package it for you in nylon? Oh, okay. Back then, when my parents had money, the schools we went to were okay, but since the clash between my parents aroused, I had to go to a government school whereby they were not able to teach us very, very well. So I had to go to other lessons. Even the lessons I went to, they were not able to teach me the way I wanted it. So I just had to manage.
The idea of this program is to train you and help you over the next few years, right? But what do you see yourself doing over the next 2 to 3 years?
I like to be a model.
To be a model? Okay. Well, do you know anybody who has gone through this training before?